Have you ever been walking through a pet store and just stopped in your tracks? In front of those fish that are glowing with these impossibly bright neon colors? It almost looks fake, right? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible science behind how these fish get that glow. And believe me, the real story is way cooler than you could ever imagine.
So the first thing almost everyone thinks is, okay, how? How do they do that? Is it some kind of special paint? Or maybe they're injected with some kind of glowing dye? It's a fair question for sure.
Well, you might want to sit down for this because the answer is neither. Not even close. The real story is so much more fascinating. Yep, that's right. This isn't just some paint job or a temporary trick. That glow is literally part of their DNA. It's written right into their genetic code. We're talking about a marvel of modern biotechnology, a trait they are born with, and one they pass down to their kids. This is nature, just with a twist.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here, because the science is just wild. These fish are what we call genetically modified organisms, or, you've probably heard this before, GMOs.
So what does that even mean, a GMO? Well, think of it like this. It's kind of like being a genetic DJ. Scientists literally took the genes that make other sea creatures glow, like jellyfish and coral, and they used some pretty amazing technology to sample those genes and mix them right into the fish's DNA. So this means the glow isn't just painted on them, it's a core part of their biology. It's in every single cell.
But, and this is where the story takes a really unexpected turn, these fish, which are now a huge hit in home aquariums all over the world, were never, ever supposed to be pets. Their origin story is one of those amazing, accidental scientific breakthroughs.
Seriously, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but these super vibrant little guys weren't created for us to look at. They started out in a laboratory designed for a completely different and actually a really important scientific job.
Okay, get this. Researchers in Singapore had this genius idea. What if they could create a living swimming sensor to detect water pollution? They actually engineered these fish to start glowing whenever they were in the presence of specific environmental toxins. I mean, just imagine that. A whole school of fish that could instantly light up and tell you if the water was dangerous. That was the whole point.
And you know what's even crazier? The journey from that science lab to your living room happened at lightning speed. The very first glowing zebrafish was created in 1995. And just 8 years later, a company saw the potential, branded them GloFish, and started selling them to the public. And today, they're a global phenomenon. It's a pretty wild story of how pure science can accidentally create a massive commercial hit.
All right, so let's shift gears a bit and get back to the science. How does this glow actually work? What's happening inside the fish to create this amazing effect?
And this naturally leads to another big question people have. If it's genetic, does that mean they can just light up on their own? You know, if you turned off all the lights, would they glow in total darkness?
And the answer is nope. And the reason why gets into a really cool scientific distinction. See, these fish are fluorescent. They're not bioluminescent. Now, what's the difference? Well, bioluminescent creatures like a firefly, they make their own light. It's a chemical reaction inside their bodies. But fluorescent things, like our fish, they need an external light source to really pop. The best analogy is a white t-shirt under a black light, right? It only glows when that special light hits it. It's the same deal here. You need a specific kind of light, usually a blue or actinic light, to charge them up and make that color visible.
So where did the scientists get these amazing glowing genes in the first place? Well, they went shopping in nature's own light show. The green gene, that comes from a jellyfish. The red one, that's from a species of coral. And by mixing and matching these natural proteins, they've been able to create this whole palette of colors. It's like being a genetic painter.
And you know, what started out with just that one type of fish, the little zebrafish, has now exploded into a whole rainbow of different species.
Yeah, it's not just Danios anymore. Now you can find glowing tetras, tiger barbs, even bettas and angelfish. But here's something that's really, really important to remember if you're thinking about getting one. Their color might be brand new, but their behavior and their needs, they're exactly the same as their non-glowing cousins. A glow-in-the-dark angelfish is still an angelfish, with all the personality quirks and tank requirements that go with it. So you still got to do your homework before you bring one home. But you know, this incredible science, it also opens up some pretty tricky questions. When we get this good at redesigning life itself, we have to ask, where do we draw the line? And that brings us right to the heart of the glowing debate, the ethics and the environmental impact of these amazing creatures.
There's a real concern out there that this kind of biotechnology is turning living animals into, as one critic put it, designed commodities. I mean, are we starting to treat living things like they're just fashion accessories, engineering them purely for our entertainment? It's a really serious ethical question, and there's no easy answer.
But moving beyond the philosophy, there's a much more immediate, practical concern. What happens if these fish escape? If they get out into the wild, could they become a real risk to our natural ecosystems?
So, funny enough, the original thinking from scientists was that these fish were actually too obvious to make it in the wild. I mean, think about it. A bright neon green fish swimming in a murky river, you're basically a swimming dinner bell for every predator around. The assumption was they were just too conspicuous. They'd never survive outside the safety of an aquarium.
And for a while, the science seemed to back this up. Studies actually showed that their flashy colors made them about twice as likely to get eaten by predators. Plus, they're tropical fish. They can't handle the cold. So in many parts of the world, they just wouldn't survive the winter. It really seemed like the case was closed. If they escaped, nature would take care of the problem pretty quickly.
But then, life, found a way. The totally unexpected happened. Despite all the scientific predictions, they did survive. In the warm, tropical waters of Brazil, feral populations of these fish, escaped from aquariums, haven't just survived, they're actually thriving. They've established breeding populations in the wild, proving everyone wrong.
So this discovery has led to a sort of three-part strategy for managing the risk. Number one, and this is the most important one for all of us, is responsible ownership. It's super simple. Never, ever, ever release your aquarium pets into local waterways. Just don't do it. Number two is legal action. Entire regions, like all of the European Union, have banned the sale of these fish because of strict GMO regulations. And finally, number three is looking to the future. Scientists are now using cutting-edge gene editing tools like CRISPR to try and develop sterile fish that can't reproduce even if they do get out into the wild.
So when you look at the whole picture, the story of the glowing fish is really a story of unintended consequences, isn't it? It starts as a brilliant scientific tool to help the environment, then becomes a massive commercial product, and then circles all the way back to become a new kind of environmental challenge. It's this powerful lesson that with incredible innovation comes incredible responsibility. And it leaves us with a huge question. As we get better and better at rewriting the very code of life, are we really wise enough to be its authors?